Okay, hello everyone. Oh, I gotta snooze my phone. Um, it is May 31st. I am just sneaking in our monthly Zoom under the line here. I was on the Grand Canyon, in the Grand Canyon, on the Colorado River most of the month, and wow, wow, wow. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you guys. We brought the art journal. We got some painting in, not anything whatever magical, amazing, but it was so fun. I like tracked our days. Can you see like um tracked our days where we camped and everything, and just layers and layers. We had watercolor, which seemed appropriate, and pen and ink, and then this was just like a spill the paint and then see what you see. And I saw this bird and flowers. That was very fun. And then this is like I don't know, the spirit of the canyon and the rocks. We're all rock people, right? The rocks were freaking amazing. Like every color, all the glitter. And here's my little Buddha face. This is, I was getting a little triggered. You're on the river for 19 days with 6 people, and I've worked through some stuff. Yet another emotional initiation. Doesn't seem to ever end. Try not to beat yourself up too much. Needed to hear that myself when you get triggered. Right? So today we are going to paint inspired by like the first 12 minutes of the Clara Pinkola Estes book that I just started listening to, The Power of the Crone. Has anyone else read that? Or I just learned about it. I don't know how new it is, but it's beautiful listening to her voice. And I have felt this year along the theme of this self-reclamation that we as a community are like this beautiful first wave of empowered creative women moving into these chapters of new authority, personal authority, and wisdom from our lives. Right when I was in Australia, Amanda was there. I can't see, I'm trying to record this so that it's not gallery view so people can watch the replay. So I can't see you all, but in Australia, I remember looking around at the group, and there were lots of us silver-haired ladies, lots of mothers of children who are grown-ish. Mine are about to be 21, 23, and 25. And these children that are moving into the world that have been raised, lucky enough to be raised by us, right? And as Clara Pinkola Estes said in just the beginning of this book, like, if you're trying to be normal, please stop. My kids used to roll their eyes and, oh, mom, you're so weird. And now they love my weirdness, and they are weird too, which is beautiful. They are following their passions, and it's so exciting. But I was feeling this sense, and you see it, I feel like you see it in so many different ways. Everything from, we got Mama Gina posting about how she's having the best sex of her life post-menopause. We've got all these, just this whole new abundance of affirmation and resources and education that meet us where we are as women, a lot of us in our 50s and 60s and 70s. And it's exciting to me. It's really, really exciting. And Clara Pinkola Estes today in her book, she's talking about the crone, and she said that the word crone originally came from the word crown or corona, right? Which reminds me of the solar eclipse, that happened. And we talked about the corona that appeared when the moon came in front of the sun, and there was that corona. And she said, crone, the crone energy, which of course defies space and time. If you're in your 30s, go you, and you can still access this energy. But this crone energy is characterized by a clarity. The crone is clear. So I'm pausing not expand upon that for a second and invite you to start kind of sinking into this idea, this word, the energy of being someone who would be described as clear. So we're going to do a little painting yoga to kind of stretch into that. And I have no idea what I'm going to paint. But the invitation, as always, with this painting practice, one of the aspects that I love the most is bringing these ideas that capture us. You know, maybe you see something or read something or hear something. There are words that are like, whoa. Being someone who would be described as clear, having a clarity, you know, which feels to me like connected to that light, like how much light can we let in? How much love can we let in? And what is within, around us in our energetic field that might not be described as clear, right? Or maybe you think of that dark moon coming in front of the sun and the light appearing around it. The moon that is a symbol of the feminine, right? That intuitive, the cyclical nature, in the darkness, anything to do with nighttime, any animals that are, you know, active at night, the moon, the darkness, the stars, it's all associated with the feminine. It's the void, it's the womb, it's the source of life, it's creativity. So when that moon came in front of the sun, so this is what I was just thinking about. I was sitting outside in the sun, kind of calling in clarity around what we were meant to explore today. And I was visualizing that ring of light around the dark moon. And the sun, that is characteristically a masculine element, and it's about action. And the moon in front of it, blocking all but that glow, the darkness, creating that corona. Like, how does that speak to you of this journey that we're on in this vehicle, this human meat suit, to learn, to expand, to become more and more of who we are? Like, that's the journey of self-reclamation. And I think it's a beautiful journey, a journey that I know for myself, you know, it's the, you know, you're born with all this, you know, just authentic, spontaneous energy. And then we get schooled and educated and taught, conditioned. Again, no victims. I mean, we got to learn, you know, what side of the road to walk on and how to get to things on time and all of that. And right now, like never before, there is this invitation to sink into and really invite in the you that is your most clear, your most authentic. I observed on the river that I spend way more time thinking about everybody else than me. And so my mantra kind of became, what do you want to do, Whitney? Right? It's like we're hiking through these side canyons, and what would be fun for you? Do that. It's so interesting to observe these kind of little slippery slopes. And that became very illuminating. And I actually felt like I became more childlike. We were doing a lot of these like side canyons and slot canyons and rock climbing and pools of water. And, you know, I found myself jumping into things or sitting quietly or just removing myself from the group or swimming naked in the, these like crystalline blue waters in the little Colorado. No one else was there. It was magical. So this constant like dialogue between clarity and obscurity, darkness and light. We learn through contrast, we explore that. So I want to invite you as we kind of sink into this energy, and this is just what I'm going to do, is to start looking at your palette, whatever colors you have, and what color first communicates or speaks to you of clarity. So let's just kind of begin a first layer. Let's see, no one's in the waiting room. I'll have to keep checking in to see if anyone's waiting. So I'm just going to go down here, not to kind of be like, here's how you do it, but just to exemplify how exactly kind of free and loose, I'm inviting you to be. So if you were looking at a palette like this, what colors feel the clearest? Oh, I just got yellow and white. I mean, maybe they're light colors, or maybe you're called to the darker colors to then layer the lightness over. So perhaps the beginning of this painting yoga, kind of the warm up, right, is to just begin to paint what feels to you like clarity. And as you paint, allow this process to be a mirror for you. Like, have you been able to paint or write or dance, right, Brita? Like no one's watching, maybe even when you are surrounded by people, without criticizing yourself, without comparing yourself? Or how does clarity, being clear, how does that, what does that feel like to you? What does that mean to you if you met someone who is really clear? I'm feeling like spontaneity, right? That lightness of being, allowing other people to be on their own journey without, or just with allowing their choices, their experiences. Well, of course, I'm going to have circles because I love circles. And maybe as you paint, ask to be shown where you have something, whether it's a pattern or a story or a belief, or perhaps it's a thing or a relationship or something that wants to be cleared. How can we leave this painting yoga session more clear than when we got here? Or maybe the question for you is, what is kind of muddying my waters lately? What is bringing me down? Like heaviness feels like heaviness and clarity aren't simpatico, right? Like when we're feeling heavy, what is pulling us down? Clara Pincola Estes shares an amazing story, so simple, about a man she knew who was inspired to grow trees in kind of an altered state, like into an altered shape. You know, you think of like a bonsai tree. And she said he would take these trees and he would bend the branches and tie ropes so that the top of the tree went down to the ground. And when the tree would snap back up when he took off the ropes, then he attached ropes to the tree and a rock in the center to try and like hold the tree in place so it would grow into these kind of altered shapes. And apparently the trees didn't cooperate. And she was there when he was expressing his frustration. And she's like, well, trees are such that they will always grow towards the light. And no matter how you try to manipulate or control them, in the end, they're going to always turn to face the light. So imagine that perhaps your life journey has been one of even, I'm thinking even myself trying to do that, to be the me, the tree that I felt like had to bend a different direction or fit in a different way or express herself differently, instead of just honoring the light and going in the direction that allowed me to grow and expand the most. So if you just hopped in, whoops, here's Maria. If you just hopped in, we are enjoying a little painting yoga inspired by the way Clara Pincola Estes describes the crone as a spirit, a person moving in the world, spirit, a soul who has achieved a level of clarity. Like the light shines through them, their light shines through them. They are not trying to be like anyone else. They're not comparing themselves. They're not judging or trying to manipulate another person's journey or energy or light, right? They are being their full, authentic, radiant self, which this is our theme, right? For 2024, this journey of self-reclamation, getting to know ourselves even better, honoring that even when it's not normal. She said, normalcy is the enemy of giftedness. Right? I remember telling my kids, they'd call me weird. Actually, they'd call me weird. You're weird, Mom. And I'm like, the original meaning of weird is someone who's found their calling. So I'm like, heck yeah, I'm weird. I hope you get weird. Hope you get weirder and weirder as you grow up. Right? So this painting practice, we love creating pretty pictures. But I feel like the real juice, the real value, the gift that's being offered to us in this painting practice is the ability to take these abstract concepts and these big feelings, or whether it's happy feelings or frustrated feelings, taking them to the journal to understand, to kind of raise our level of consciousness up to a place where we can look more objectively and with more love at ourselves and be like, okay, this is why I love talking to myself, like the infinite being having a human experience. I'm like, wow, your human self is getting a little triggered, remember. And then my infinite self can come in and be like, it's okay, this is how we learn, right? Dipping into these shadowy spaces gives us an opportunity. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, good. You all just went behind my screens. I thought I lost you. Going into the shadows gives us an opportunity to realize that those shadows even exist, right? So every time, and I've said this to myself multiple times this year, as I'm beating myself up for getting upset about something, and it's like, oh, this is another opportunity to bring myself back, to kind of clean off the window panes and come back into clarity. I didn't even know that still existed. And I spent some time judging myself. Like, really? You get that easily knocked out of your center? And it's like, hey, this is the work. This is the clearing, right? We don't know about it unless we get triggered, which is just like, hey, you just kind of knocked on the door of some darkness that wants to be liberated. So we're painting a first layer that feels like clarity. So I just painted this. Well, I'm going to let it drip. Maybe I'm going to turn it upside down. So now that you have your background, what might be the next image or color or shape to communicate? Let's let the word corona, the crown, the radiant light that might shine through. I do really want to, let me show you this actually, because I just did this. So one of the Heart Orbits canvases came back, George, you know, they each have a song and a song and a name. So this is George. This went, I don't know, all around the country. And the song that's connected to it is a song called White Flag by the band Joseph. And they're, one of them at least is living here now, Megan. And she came over and she painted all this like turquoise in the black and the turquoise on the feathers. And I got to paint on it for a while. And this shape, I don't know if any of you painted on this canvas, but this shape was here. And it was, I don't really remember what it looked like before, but I made it a little more glowing-ish. So I'm kind of feeling this corona, like the eclipse. And of course, eclipses symbolically are about, isn't that cool though? Like 9 people painted on that. Anyway, more Heart Orbits coming up. That's a very unwieldy project that we started, but it will find its groove, I'm sure. I forgot what I was saying. Well, I was talking about the corona. Oh, the eclipse. So the energy of the eclipse is, what do you want to eclipse in your life? What do you want to like let go? Right? What are you done with? So we don't have to answer that question right now, but we could kind of paint it in order to connect with it. And again, you don't have to do that. So you've got this theme of being a being that has achieved, has created, has chosen, has reclaimed a level of clarity. Maybe this painting becomes a yantra, a visual mantra, like a symbol that you can use to remind you in those moments when you get triggered, right? I'm thinking of like the diamond from Super Soul Flow, that diamond space we go into in the Freya knot meditation. A symbol that can help you be like, okay, let this just flow through me. I don't have to hold on to this. I don't have to react. I don't have to judge. I don't have to try and control. What might a symbol for that be? And maybe on your paper or your canvas, maybe you do multiple. We can just play. Like, we don't have to, this isn't, of course, I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, but I get to dance with the kind of, well, anyway, someone's coming in and I got turned around with my cursor. This is simply an arena to kind of help to understand these ideas. Okay, hello. So we're painting inspired by the state of being clear, being someone that would be described as a clear spirit, a clear person, inspired by the word crone. That means corona, came from the word crown or corona. And we just painted a background that feels like the word clarity. And then now we're opening up to a symbol or a shape or just something next that might communicate or serve to remind us, to symbolize this state of being a person who is clear rather than someone who is blocked or tangled or confused or fragmented, right? So the word corona made me think of the corona that was around, that was a part of the eclipse, that big solar eclipse that happened. I mean, we've been having eclipses, but that's where I first learned that term corona. So since this deep blue orb here is wet, I'm going to attempt to create a glow without bleeding into it. So So we can blend the colors out to make it look like it's glowing. Let's see what, oh geez, now the white has blue in it too. So this painting is a way of knowing, as a way of exploring. And all the arts, like Brita in Northern Idaho does movement, right? You just did a retreat in Guatemala, I think. And so Brita might dance clarity, move to communicate clarity. Okay, I think I'm going to let this dry. I just saw adding like white, maybe with acrylic, adding white, kind of radiating brush strokes. Right now it's getting muddy with the background. So that's one potential yantra for clarity. What else? And maybe you look in on your paper. So I just looked over here. There's kind of this this column of just wet, right? Do you see this kind of channel here? So maybe look in your first layer and see if you see something that wants to kind of help you communicate this. So I'm seeing a figure here. Oh, I had a pencil. Oh, is this a pencil? Oh, it is. Look, it's the George O'Keeffe pen from the George O'Keeffe Museum. So I'm seeing these two. Let's see, I'll try and do it upside down. I'm seeing these, this head here. Oh, come on. There's paint on my pencil. So say this is a face. So this is, we don't have to be perfect. She look happier. And then what I saw were her arms coming up, like raising her hands. I will know what this means. We'll give her crazy hair, not normal hair. And her body. Oh. What did I just say to someone today? Like, I'm still not into drawing, really. Okay, so here's this very open, clear. Maybe she's got a glowing dress on. Oh, look what happened there. Scraped away the Kimi. All right. So you can look into your canvas or your painting or your drawing. Imagine that it's going to offer to you an image to support this intention that maybe you're choosing to explore with me, this intention to become an even clearer being. Yeah, making her purple. She's purple and yellow person. You can imagine that whatever image is coming through is being offered to you to help connect to the feeling. I'm trying to put light like all around her. I think this is going to involve some white acrylic paint after this. And so then I'm thinking about, like, why is she, does she look like a she? Kind of. Like arms outstretched. You know, it's like she's just like this. Vulnerable position, right? So kind of fearless or open and clarity. So maybe you have a writing journal handy and the images are helping to identify little nuggets for you, right? That, like for me, that position just allowed me to feel that, what it might feel like to be super clear. There's no fear because there's knowing. The crone is fearless. The crone energy, our wise woman energy, is fearless because she knows what it's like to be human. She knows this life, this living, these struggles, the triggers, the relationships, all the things. She's lived it. She knows it. She's not afraid of it anymore. I'm thinking of the eye of fearlessness. So many of you know the eye of fearlessness. We could turn this into an eye of fearlessness, the crown, but I don't really want to. So that's all that counts. So let's see. So the eye of fearlessness, it's in the Rise Above book, if you have that. So the eye of fearlessness was came about because I was with at a retreat with the Creatively Fit coaches in Nashville back in like 2013 or something. And we had canvases around the room and we were painting the energy on each canvas, and those canvases are in the book. And one was fearlessness. And what ended up on that canvas was this eye that had, it was kind of like above and below. You couldn't tell which side was up or down. It was wide open. And so we asked ourselves, how does this wide open eye communicate fearlessness? And what we came to is that if we're seeing things clearly, boom, there's that word again. If we're seeing things clearly, then can we really be afraid? Like, can fear coexist next to clarity? Or is fear kind of dependent on uncertainty? Right? You think about if you can look into a clear pool of water, maybe you're not afraid to dive in, but if it's muddy, maybe you hesitate. That could be a thing. I have a good friend who's very courageous, but wow, muddy water, forget about it. Not going in there. So when we see things clearly, we're not afraid. So the crone energy, this energy of wisdom and fearlessness, comes about because we've seen it all. She has seen it all. People are coming. Okay, so some people just joined. So look at this masterpiece. Okay, so again, thank you. So this Yin Yoga is to contemplate this theme of clarity, of being described as someone who has a clear spirit, as Clara Pinkola Estes in her book, The Power of the Crone, which I'm like 10 minutes into this book and I'm already like mind blown. She describes the crone as a woman, an older woman who has achieved clarity. She knows who she is. She's not afraid. She is authentic and in her power because she's experienced life. She's lived. She's in a state of allowance. She's not trying to fix anybody. I mean, you can just imagine, maybe you can animate your own crone. Maybe imagine like a crone sitting on your shoulder, your crone self. Even if you're like 20, you have a crone self sitting on your shoulder, your older, wiser self. In Super Soul Flow, right, we connect to aspects of ourselves. So you can connect to the aspect of you that is the wise, clear crone. And what does she have to offer you? right? So, so this is a corona as illustrated by the solar eclipse, you know, when the sun is glowing behind the dark moon. And this drip, what does the drip mean? We'll interpret that later. And then this, I saw kind of this clear column, and I painted or drew or scribbled, whatever, this woman who's in this very vulnerable open position. And then the eye of fearlessness, the clarity that comes when you are in a state of knowing. Our crone energy, she's seen it all. She knows. There's nothing that scares her, right? And then I want any of you to share what symbols have been coming up for you, or show and tell, or whatever. You know, this is a conversation. But as I was listening to her, so this painting is the painting I painted, I don't know, last year or so, to paint my guide, to guide me into my crone years, because the aging thing is super triggering, right? Super duper super triggering. So I painted Holly. But look at this crown on Holly. So when I'm listening to Claire Pinkola Estes talk about how crone comes from the word crown or corona, and I immediately was like, my collie has this awesome crown, right? And so I found that very encouraging. And then I put on my Sweet and Juicy t-shirt to illustrate clarity. These guys are a group musicians, right? They're singer people that I've seen them perform in person live, and they dress up like fruits and vegetables and sing, and then they sing these kind of erotic songs. They are so good and so funny, and they felt like an example of clarity. Like, they are super weird, right? And that's beautiful. They're certainly not trying to be like anybody else. I literally I told them I was going to be their new groupie, and my son got me this t-shirt when he saw them last. So there's just no end to the possibilities of how you can express yourself in this human meat suit, right? The Sweet and Juicy is absolutely a symbol of that. So who wants to share what is coming up on your canvas or journal? I'm going to switch to gallery view for a second.
I can share, Whitney.
Hi. Oh, good. Hi, Dawn.
Hi. So I love where you're going with this. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I just turned 51 on May 20th. So I love where you're going with the crone energy, because this is like, yes, freaking loving it. So I'm not doing a painting. I'm doing some little tiny collage cards.
Love it.
And I found this little, I mean, she's really crone, but she's badass. Like, she's on a painted like graffiti paint. But I love the synchronicity in this because I've been finding four-leaf clovers left and right. Like, on my birthday, I found 9 of them. Today, like, I found 3. I found one that was like a 5-leaf clover. And look at her freaking beads. She has beads, and it's
Whoa.
a 4-leaf clover. And I'm like, how you can't make that shit up. Like,
Yeah,
why?
right.
But and then I've also just been in this very playful, like allowing that inner child to play and just come in. So I'm doing all these little like random cards. And as soon as you said something about the eye, I was like, oh shit, here we go. Discover your
Wow.
destiny. That she's on like just the eye alone is on these pair of like feet.
Dancing feet, slippers.
And yeah, she's just like stepping into herself, and that's me. Like, I'm just like, I'm finally stepping into myself. Like, it feels so good and so powerful, and I'm just like embodying that crone energy. Like, yes, bring it the fuck on.
Gosh, I love
So
it.
good.
I love
Yeah,
it. Oh, thank you for sharing, Dawn. I can't believe you've created all that. That just
just now
puts
while you
everything
started, I
fell
was like,
into
yeah, let's
place,
go,
right?
let's do it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing and for exemplifying a whole different, like a different way of doing this. I love it. Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, and then there's that whole thing that it does feel like the older I get, the younger I get. Right? Because you just stop caring, right? And it's funny when you have like 20 something children and then you kind of like I hang out with more younger people than I do people my age, just because they don't really know what to do with me, I think. But I'm more comfortable hanging out with that young energy. It's super interesting. I love it. So just as you were talking and I was feeling that, like the older you get, the younger you get, like that clarity, the relationship between clarity and getting older. And that's why the inner child work, if any of you have heard of inner child work, that is so that you can reconnect to that clear essence of who you are before you got all the layers, right? And so that inner child I think it's the Celtic tradition, the three selves, there's the higher self, the adult self, and the child self. And there's a flow of communication. So the child self has a direct line of communication with the higher self, and the child self can communicate to the adult self. The adult self does not have a direct line of communication to the infinite higher self. It's through the inner child that we get to the higher self. So that's another reason we paint, right? Because when we were kids, most of us, at some point at least, smeared paint around something. And so reconnecting to that childlike, spontaneous, unfiltered, pursuing the joy energy is somehow really, really connected to this crone thing. So I'm seeing a collage, right, with like the crone and the little kid merge somehow. Or sometimes I have dreams like that, actually. Sharon, unmute yourself, darling.
Unmute. Okay. Well, I'm a crone, right? I'm a crone who doesn't like to tell my age, but that's okay.
That's okay.
So what came up for me was all these rainbow colored dancing crones, and I put crowns on them all.
Yes, I
And
love
did,
that.
and I did start out with an I also earlier.
Yeah, see?
But yeah.
Beautiful.
So hate all us crones out there.
I love that. Yeah, just the prompt of painting an eye. Painting a big eye, is it like a crystalline eye or like rainbow or sparkly or magical as a yantra to help you see clearly. This is what the diamond consciousness is speaking to, is the ability to see things clearly, to really understand what's actually going on in this lifetime rather than, get buried in the drama and the stories and all the things. Love it. Beautiful. Such wisdom on this group. Anyone else want to show and tell or what you are receiving?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's Amanda. Amanda
there you
from
are.
Australia. Hi, guys.
I know, and I see Araya and Kyler. I'm so excited.
Oh, hi, Araya. I can't see you.
Yeah.
Hi, Kylie. Right. I was so engrossed in all of that. So I'll see if my flow comes. So here's mine. So yellow was big, gold was the first color. And I loved the light, the corona that you were talking about. Yeah. Clear corona, and it was coming out as my Sharona. I'll have to. And so I end magic glasses. So the eye theme for me. So I am 55 going 56, and it's like I don't need the magic glasses anymore, but I love the magic glasses. So that's the whole thing. Fear to love, right? Magic in every moment, bringing yourself back. And the older we get, it's like on it, baby. And so we can share it when we're mothers and our kids are crazy and they love it and they own it, all of that. And so I ended with crone clarity, sees magic everywhere and shares it fearlessly.
Ooh. Sharing it fearlessly. That's right. Just through your beingness, you're sharing it with the world. Yeah. All the ways we muted or edited or shrunk ourselves or kept quiet. Wow, just speaking from experience. Yeah. Thank you, Amanda. So good to see you, my dear.
Yeah, you too.
Carolyn, hello. Yeah, unmute yourself. You see the little mute button? Oh, there you go. We're imagining Carolyn unmuting herself.
Got it.
Yay! Fabulous. Oh, look. Wow.
The eyes have been there all day. The eyes have been there all day.
Yep.
And I've been just kind of, I don't know what it's all about, only that I've been really trying too hard to keep my vibration up, right?
Right.
My daughter's going through a divorce, blah, 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 all of that, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying really hard. And today it was like, just let it be, you know, like I just can't be in that place all the time. Just, this and hearing you, and it just helps me be more clear about it's okay, right? It's okay. The light's still there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still shine, but I'll be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we can do, right? We can only be
Yeah.
ourselves. We can't vibrate for anybody else. We can't live for anybody else.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very fun. I'm so glad I love when the timing, right? You know, that synchronicity, that synergy.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
the canvas was
Clarity.
just waiting for this conversation, and it just all came through right at the moment. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Amy, and then Kylie. Hi, Amy.
Hi. Okay, so
Coming through.
yeah. Here I just started having this cool colored. I felt like that was the corona to start with, this kind of oceanic. I was feeling this kind of kelp over here, and then the light shining. Yeah. And I remembered that yesterday I was just looking at my eyes in the mirror and started realizing that they're having a lot more yellow and blue in them. And they used to just be brown. And I don't know, something about that sort of fascinated me.
Absolutely. My eyes have done that too. They've changed over the years. They change day to day sometimes.
Yeah, maybe it's day to day.
Beautiful. I love that. It feels I mean, the blue colors always make me feel light, you know, like it's like a big swoosh, like cleanliness or something, lightness. And then that yellow orange light just feels so warm and soft.
Right. What a sweet reminder.
Right. And isn't it amazing how, you know, it's like we have the thoughts that maybe inspire the colors or the images, but then the images talk back to us, right? And then they inspire new thoughts, things that we never would have thought about if we hadn't engaged in the color, the symbol, the imagery. So I love that.
Yeah, beautiful process.
Thank you for sharing. Kylie, what are you creating, darling?
Hi everyone. Hi. Is Kim Sales on the call by any chance?
So
okay, I just asked because I'm doing her Goddess of Bridget painting from the Feminine Festival. So it's a big one.
yeah, on a circular canvas. I love that.
Yeah. So I'm painting Bridget. So obviously there's the light behind her, and as I was doing swirls on her dress, spirals, I saw an eye before because I did like overlapping spirals, and in that I could see the kind of evil eye pattern. So yeah, so I started adding eyes, and then you started talking about eyes. So I think that's hilarious when that happens. It's a collective consciousness, isn't it? It's
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I've given Bridget a crown and just adding some little details and things. And for me, the side of her cape that has the kind of blue watercolors were the clarity for me, and purple was clarity as well, which I just instinctively went for the purple. So that's I guess that's kind of the whole, our third eye chakra stuff. And yeah, I think for me, I really just connected with Bridget over this weekend, and I've just secured my dream job, which has given me the ticket out of the career that I've been trying to get out of for about 3 years now. So so it's really exciting. It's been a long time coming, and I think for me, Bridget was like holding on to the light even when I didn't have clarity, because I did leave my profession that I'd worked in for 15 years and had a degree in and everything else, and I left it with kind of no real plan, but like just holding on to that inner flame and that inner light, and trusting that clarity will come. And every step along the way I've found more and more clarity, and yeah, and now I'm studying what I want to be studying, and I start on Tuesday working in this amazing environment, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I just want to celebrate that, and just that, yeah, I think that Bridget has been really she's been really instrumental in that, in just like holding onto that flame or that light, and knowing that it will come, and there's always a new dawn for me. So yeah, just want to share that.
Absolutely. And of course the crone always knows, right? Like everything has always been there for a reason, like the career you had before was there for a reason. The time you spent, searching for the next perfect fit, you picked up things along the way from all those different stops that are now a part of you, that you are bringing in one way, shape, or form to this new chapter, right? So there's no like time lost or wasted or anything. It's just all been gathering more information, more experiences, more wisdom.
Absolutely.
So that's beautiful. And it's reminding me too, that the goddesses are an amazing way to connect to this energy, this crone energy, the clarity. As soon as you held up Bridget, and she is a triple goddess, which means she embodies the maiden, the matron, and the crone all at once. And Bridget isn't asking anyone's permission. Certainly neither is Kali nor Tara, nor any of them, right? They are fully in who they are, what they are here to represent, to offer, the medicine they're offering, and they're not bending over to try and keep anybody else happy, right? So whether you believe the goddesses are actually whatever, their energies, their archetypes, their aspects of us, they are as much a part of reality as anything else. And I've found over the years that leaning into exploring the aspects of the divine feminine, the empowered, clear, wise, powerful feminine, is a way to help anchor in more of that aspects of me, right? But just when you share Bridget, like I added magenta next to my lady, and I wrote, I give me permission, not asking anybody else's permission, right? So I love that. Thank you, Kylie. Beautiful. Yay. Does anyone else want to show and tell? Show and tell, show and tell.
I will.
Hey, Karen.
Hello,
Hey.
Hello. So I did watercolor paper, which I don't really do that often, but I did some colors, and then I had like you can't see it because I kind of covered it, but I had like a little heart going over here. And then, so with that curve, I saw a swan. So I painted the swan, and then I don't know why, but I put a gold, that's gold. I don't know if it reflects or not, but there's like gold up on the crown and then on the neck. But what I thought was cool is then I looked up, because I don't know all my totem animals, but I had to look up swan. And so it was touching that it's very feminine. I didn't actually know that. And it says swan, the power of woman entering sacred space, touching future yet to come, bringing eternal grace.
Wow.
So I love it.
Yeah, go swan energy. That's beautiful. I remember swan being also there's the like kind of graceful floating, even though her feet are paddling hard underneath the surface, right? So you know, that's an interesting energies to kind of muse on. And also when you were showing yours and you pointed out how that heart led to the neck, which made me think of that throat chakra. And then so we've got swans that have this super long throat chakra, which actually does Saraswati sit on a swan? Some of you there, I know there's one of those goddesses that sits on a swan. So as far as clarity as in relation to our speech and our words.
That's so true. And I've been having difficulty constricting throat chakra lately. I don't know if you remember me talking about that in the last one, which is kind of why I then went to the gold in the throat, but that makes perfect sense.
Wow.
Been working on that the last couple of days.
That feels, yeah, because we were just talking about that in the training call.
Yep.
That's really beautiful. And I mean, you all know how similarly passionate I am about curating your words, you know, really allowing your words to be supportive and to speak to more of what you want rather than speaking to like what's going wrong. And it doesn't mean, it's not this denial, you know, deny the, you know, or brush over, gloss over, anything like that. And, you know, like when we're challenged with something, when we're struggling with something, we can communicate the same exact thing saying, you know, like, I hate this, this is hard, I can't do this, is the same, you know, on a logical kind of Spock plane as saying, wow, I am currently super challenged by this and I'm being called to learn and stretch into uncomfortable territory. And I'm open to this becoming more in alignment with grace and ease. I don't feel that yet. I'm open to that, right? Like there are ways that you can use your words to speak to challenging, dark moments, you know, things that are you wouldn't want to have in your life, but speak to it in a way that is supportive. Like isn't, if you expanded the energy of the words, you would be learning more, growing more, being challenged to, you know, take back more of your power or learn new things, rather than I'm getting buried and disempowered and I can't do this and I'm just gonna like suffer in this pit of nothingness because I can't do it, right? They're very different energies. So so allowing clarity to be in alignment with the nature of our words, that feels super applicable for all of us. I love, you know, the word abracadabra, right? Means I speak, therefore I create. So you look at, you know, even the stereotypical witch, the old crone witch, right? What I love about, you know, kind of dipping into the witch, you know, I love the novels about witches and all that, but witches are so conscious of their words. They are so respectful of the power of words. And you could consider that the paintings, like you can paint paintings that are like spells. So, okay, spelling words, right? You can consciously speak to create into more of what you want. And that's all of this, you know, is a way of knowing ourselves, how to express ourselves most authentically, and then how to be that and create more of that in our lives. This isn't about keeping the painting experience in the studio and letting it just be the finished product. This is about painting as a way of expanding into more ways of living, like increasing the palette that you're pulling from in your life. So I love it. Okay, does anyone else want to share anything?
I could go real quick.
Yes,
Hi,
please.
everybody. So I made this little, I'm gonna call it, well, it kind of looked like a bug, but I didn't want it to be a bug necessarily because they usually bug us, right? So going off the words,
Yep.
I'm thinking it's like a clarity fairy of some kind. So, it's a real inner child sort of painting. But I had a blast doing it, and I was loving everything that you were saying about being in the crone. I'm 51, and just really feeling like the last year I've been using the mantra of living from my essence rather than my agenda, and really being in that fearless place and just in that openness and clarity that my heart really wants to follow. So what I want to create in life that may seem difficult or undoable is just, it's not, and just really moving past that. So this is my funky little.
Beautiful. I love it. And I think for all of us, like I'm captivated by the symbolism of your clarity fairy having one eye. Right? It's almost like so you could connect it to the non-duality, right? Like there is no good or bad, right or wrong. There's just the wholeness of it, or the one eye that she's looking out from, like, this is who I am, the singular person that is completely unique in the world. There's no one else like that clarity fairy anywhere, right? I don't know, like that would be a fun thing for any of us. Like, why does Rita's clarity fairy have one eye? What does that speak to you? I love that. Beautiful. Oh, so fun. Okay, last call. Does anyone else want to?
I can go.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, Anna, hold
So,
on. I'm playing with pins here for so now we're next to each other. Look at that.
Nice. So I've been playing in the ceramic studio, and I just got this tree back yesterday. I don't know how well you can see it.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Beautiful.
So, and then I've been working with Peacock. So I've been painting a screen.
Fun. Oh my gosh.
See if I can get it to look. Kind of see it. Talking about eyes.
Yeah,
the
right.
Peacock has eyes.
They have lots of eyes.
All over. So yeah, with the peacock, it wants to be seen, but also it sees, is like the message. Working with peacock. So that's what I had.
Beautiful. And so then the peacock, it's the male peacocks that have the beautiful tails, right?
Right.
So that feels like a really interesting musing too, because I would potentially, speaking from my own experience, say that the crone, the clear, empowered, wise crone, has integrated her own masculine and feminine, right? And is seen with all the eyes, or something. So that feels super fun. And of course, the beautiful thing about our painting practice is that we can make a female peacock that has the beautiful tail feathers.
Right. They're kind of cute. The peahens are cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super fun. There's some peacocks around here, kind of sort of around, but I've seen peacocks recently, and anyway, they just feel like something out of a fairy tale whenever I see them, right?
I've seen an albino peacock. Yes. Amazing.
Very cool. Oh, I love that. Okay, well, be sure and like in our Facebook group or something, like share the progression of that peacock. That feels very exciting.
I have a painting that I'm working on that's peacock that I'm basing it off of, that I'm almost done with. So I'm like,
Oh, good. Okay, good. Fun.
how about it?
Thank you, Anna. Good to see you. Beautimus. Well, okay, so Maggie just offered Malak Taus is an incredible Yaziddic peacock god. Maggie, I thought of you because, of course, Claire Pinkola Estes is a Jungian psychologist and all that. Anyway, I was like, oh, Maggie. So that was fun. Very cool. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Share this replay with a friend, another, whatever, someone who you think might benefit from bathing in this energy of clarity and feminine wisdom. And just so grateful for this powerful, creative, magical, loving, feminine, empowered energy that I always receive from you all when I get to circle up with you. It just absolutely lights me up, and I'm beyond grateful. So thank you for making time today to join me, and may your journey into greater and greater clarity continue to expand. And I'm sure there will be many forks, many rays that split off from this musing. And so we will continue to share it in the Whitney Freya Studio group. And I do have, stay tuned, a lot of you know, so how many of you remember any of the 24-hour paint jams I've done in the past? We paint for 24 hours straight. Yeah. So we've got another one coming up June 21st. We did it 2 years ago, June 21st, I think. And so the next one's coming up. It's going to be free for everyone in the world, whoever wants to join. Free, live, 24 hours, 12 2-hour workshops. You just click the link anytime. Last time we did it, Maggie was there for 24 hours, right? There were at least 20 people that did the entire 24 hours. So I'm just going to put that challenge out to this group. Block out your time, 6 a.m. June 21st to 6 a.m. June 22nd Pacific time, or you can do your own 24 hours if you're not on Pacific time, because I will tell you, this will be my 8th time doing this, and 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. way easier than like the time I did 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. So you might want to start your 6 a.m. and then join, but everyone can join for free. And then of course, if you want the lifetime access to the replays, there's a charge, but everyone can join. It's going to be very fun. We have 14 other creatively fit coaches collaborating to teach these. I'll teach a workshop, and then 11 other workshops. Wow. It actually goes pretty quickly with the workshop. I used to just do them like just me painting for 24 hours, and that was fun, but this is even more fun. So anyway, that's coming up. You'll start seeing information about that. Oh, Dina, so you'll be up. Everyone will be up. Baby will be up, maybe. But yeah, you can join anytime. It'll be a fun opportunity. If you have any of those friends who are like, oh, I love that you paint, I can't paint, invite them to click the link and join in, right? Because we know they can, and we know they'll love it. So anyway, good to see you. I see you, Joanne. Okay, wait, I'm going to end the replay or the recording or whatever. So if you watch the recording, thank you for being here. See you next month.